For my picks of the week, starting with Netflix, I really want to recommend The Departed. I know it's one everybody has seen, but Netflix is slowly trickling out Scorsese's best movies. They keep adding like one every month. This month is The Departed. It's one of my personal favorites. Now, my favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas, but back when this came out, I kind of thought it might dethrone Goodfellas, and as time has shown, it really hasn't. But what I will say about The Departed, and if you didn't really get this from it on like one viewing, I'd really encourage you to revisit it. It is not just one of the best paced movies I've ever seen. It's almost 3 hours, but it's so quickly paced. It just goes boom, boom, boom to the next thing, and it establishes everything really well. Like, you're very rarely, even just on the first viewing, confused. Like, Scorsese has just become such a master at storytelling. The Departed, even if you don't like this story, which I happen to love it, I love these kinds of movies, but even if you're not into it, I'm telling you, from someone that watches an ungodly amount of movies, this one is one of the most expertly crafted I have ever seen. Thor Ragnarok is getting launched on Netflix. It's going to be their biggest movie of the month. I'm sure a lot of you saw it because this one did really well. If you didn't see it, don't rent it now. Wait for June 5th. Watch it. I highly recommend this one. And this is coming from someone that's not really a Marvel fanboy. Now, I like the movies all right. I mean, I'm not really hating on them. I don't particularly like the latest DC movies. But the Marvel ones, a lot of them tend to just kind of feel almost like TV episodes. And obviously big budget ones. But they just feel like episodes rather than like unique cinematic experiences onto themselves. Thor Ragnarok is almost that. It's almost its own unique thing that sort of stands out. It's the director. I can never say his name. He's from New Zealand. He's done some really funny movies in the past. If you saw What We Do in the Shadows or Hunt for the Wilder People, which I've recommended both on this channel multiple times, he directed this. It's got a really good sense of humor. It doesn't feel forced, or at least it didn't to me. Jeff Goldblum's got a great appearance in it. It's a really fun movie. It's almost as fun as Guardians of the Galaxy, which is really my favorite Marvel movie. This one is up there. This one's probably top 5, so I highly recommend it if you missed it. And I definitely recommend it even if you didn't like the other 2 Thor movies, which I'm in that camp. Amazon is really killing it. I just mentioned that on Friday's video on the YouTube channel. I had 10 really good movies that they just added on June 1st. They've got some great ones. One of the ones that I recommended in that video was Event Horizon, which isn't just one of my favorite like space horror movies. It really is one of the best. Like, if Alien didn't exist, this movie might not exist either, but this one's maybe second to Alien. Let me know in the comments. We can hash that out and everything. But this one's just got a really cool feel to it. It's really unique onto itself. I know a lot of you have seen it, but based on comments I'm getting from Friday's video where I recommended this, a lot of you haven't. A lot of people miss this one. I highly recommend it. It is a horror movie. If horror movies scare you, this one's going to get you. There's a lot of gore in this one, but it's not just like torture porn or anything like that, like the Saw movies. This one's good. This one's interesting. This one's a unique movie watching experience. Another unique movie watching experience, and one of the better new releases on Prime right now, is The Disaster Artist. They just dropped it. I really enjoyed this movie. If you're a fan of The Room, this one's a must watch. You do not have to have seen The Room, the movie on which this is based, to enjoy this one. You can completely enjoy it without having seen it. It's its own thing. It's really fun, but it's about people that don't know what they're doing, making a movie, and they do a horrible job, but this friendship develops during it, and I normally don't like movies like that just sort of feature like a budding friendship, but this one's it's really well done. James Franco stars in it with heavy prosthesis. He looks crazy, but he directed it as well. Now, a lot of you probably don't know this, but Franco has directed a bunch of movies. Like, God, I mean, he's got like maybe 12 directing credits under his belt. Maybe, I don't know, maybe more. All of them suck. They're all horrible. This one is fantastic. Hulu is almost about to get cut out of these recommendations. I'm really tired of recommending Hulu because it's tough. I got nothing new on Hulu. That said, I basically got to go with some oldies but goodies, and Trainspotting is currently on Hulu. If maybe you're a younger viewer or listener and you've never seen Trainspotting, this one almost like changed my life. One, definitely kept me off of heroin. Not that I was in danger of trying heroin, but this movie absolutely would have scared me off of it, maybe more so than Requiem for a Dream. But visually, this movie is just so incredible. And very similar to Goodfellas, you're basically dealing with drug addicts here. And the first half of this movie is really fun. Like, they're partying, they're having a great time, and the movie's fun. It's fun to watch. And then it starts to go down this slippery slope, and it gets darker and darker and darker. Really, for me, this one is a masterpiece. It's still Danny Boyle's best film. Highly recommend it. This one's required viewing. If you consider yourself any sort of a movie buff, you have to have watched this one. And then also, another oldie but goodie that I just happen to really like is Punchdrunk Love. This is maybe one of Paul Thomas Anderson's weaker movies, but he's such a strong director, it's still really good. And I still, like, when I think about this movie, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson's only done a handful of movies. He's one of the most highly respected directors in Hollywood at the moment, and has been for like well over a decade. And at I guess this is his third movie, he decides to have it star Adam Sandler, who is like kind of one of the most despised guys in terms of like art cinema. Like his movies are so lowbrow that sort of the Oscar community really turns their nose up at Sandler, and then one of the most respected directors just jams him as the star. That's just one of the ballsiest moves ever. But this movie's really kind of cool. It's got some heart. If you've seen it, you might not have noticed. The whole opening, like the first 15 minutes, is all one big long take. People keep coming in and out of his office, and it gets really frantic because he's got like this sort of nervous condition, and the movie really sort of sets the tone for that well. It's a small little story. It's a nice little love story. I recommend it. It's a good little... It's maybe a good date night movie. It's maybe not a good date night movie for somebody you don't know very well, though. I'll say that. It's got some weirdness to it. Blade Runner 2049 is currently available on HBO. This was my favorite movie from 2017. I predicted it basically a year ago, months before the movie was released. I was just paying attention to the production, who was working on it, who was involved, details in the trailers. I really watched this one closely, and I called it early, like that's going to be the best movie of 2017. And I think it was, not just because I always have to be right, but I really, really enjoyed this one. It really blew me away in the theater. I know not everyone agrees with that, and I can totally see why, but I will say I think when we look back on 2017, Blade Runner is going to be one of the ones that really stands out. I would say if you haven't seen the original Blade Runner, don't watch it before you watch Blade Runner 2049. There are things you're not going to get, but you're going to get plenty. You're going to understand plenty. If you like it and you want to understand more, go back and watch the original. The reason I say that is the original is fairly slowly paced. It does take multiple viewings to really sort of, not just like get it, you know, like you're not smart enough, but it takes multiple viewings to really kind of get what they were trying to do with it, I think. And you could get turned off on the first go round, but Blade Runner 2049 is beautiful. Luckily it won an Academy Award for the best cinematography, and it really has some of the best cinematography I've ever seen, and that says a lot. So I'm gushing, I know it. But I highly recommend it. It is a must-watch. If you got to watch something else, you want to watch something classic, I always like to include like one classic movie on my picks of the week, or my flicks of the week. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is on HBO. I can watch that movie anytime. It's by no means my favorite Western. It's a little bit watered down, but it's fun. Like, it's really just enjoyable to watch every single time. It's got action in it. It's got comedy. It's heavy at times. It's just got a nice... There's one sequence where they play that stupid song. It's not Singing in the Rain. They play a stupid song where they're riding a bicycle, and it just grates on my nerves. I need to edit my own version of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I need to rip it, cut that scene out. It's not needed. It's stupid, and put it back together. And just like, I'll just watch that one from now on. I just made a decision here. I'm doing a Flick Connection cut of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid that me and only me will probably ever be able to watch. But that's happening. As far as rentals go, another week. Kind of weak in that, but there's a movie called Thoroughbreds that looks really interesting. It's about two girls, like high society kind of teenage girls. One of the girls was in Split and The Witch, so she's really good, really good young actress. And they're not good girls. Well, I'll just say that they start to kind of do some bad stuff, and the story seems interesting. Like, if you want to rent something that just came out this week, you've exhausted everything else, this would be the way to go. There's some better stuff coming up in the summer, but we got a little bit of a drought in terms of good movies right now. As far as what's in the theater, Hereditary looks like it is absolutely the pick of the week. It is a horror movie. This is probably going to be like the horror movie of the year, if not the horror movie of the year. Top 3. It's already getting incredible reviews. The trailer looks sick, and the reviews are saying the trailer kind of tricks you, but in a good way. Like, I can't think of a better setup for a movie, for the trailer to look good, and then to have, respected reviewers like Vanity Fair, and I can't remember, basically all the big ones have already reviewed it, to say that not only is it really good and gut-wrenching, and it just pounds on you, that it subverts your expectations so well, and in like the best way possible. So it's been a while since I've read reviews this good on a horror movie. In fact, it was last year for Jordan Peele's Get Out. This is probably going to be the Get Out of 2018. If you're going to the theater on Friday, Saturday, this would be the one to see unless you hate horror movies. I would steer clear of this one. This one sounds like it's got some classic scares in it. So watch out for that. But that's my picks of the week. Hopefully you found something you can watch this week, at least one. So this segment is actually from my weekly podcast that I put out every single Monday. If you like this video and you're new here, definitely click that subscribe button and click the little bell icon, because subscribing without it basically means nothing on YouTube now. But you'll get tons of movie recommendations every single week. It'll almost be impossible for you to run out of things to watch on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and other streaming services. If you like longer form content, definitely check out my podcast, review it. That'll definitely help this channel grow. But videos like this one, I'll keep making them as long as you keep watching them. But thanks for watching this one, and you will see me next time.